The Mysterious Doors. Ages ago, there lived in a city a wealthy old man. He had a long grey beard and he tried to keep up a smile but failed. His eyes betrayed a deep sadness. One morning, as he walked down the path leading to the market square, he saw a young man in tattered clothes sitting under a tree. The old man observed the stranger for a while and then said, "Dear boy, your face tells me that you are no ordinary beggar, though you seem to be starving now. What has reduced you to such a miserable state?" The young man stood up and greeted the kind old man. "My name is Yusuf, and as you have guessed, I come of a noble family. But now I have lost all my money, thanks to my foolishness and bad company." "Then come with me and I will give you some work and a place to live in," proposed the old man. The youth readily followed the old man. His house was a large and beautiful mansion surrounded by gardens where numerous birds sang joyfully. He ordered his servants to take the lad to the best of his rooms, give him new clothes to wear, and feed him with a hearty meal. In the evening, when Yusuf, well rested and fresh, went to the old man, he was no longer a haggard looking fellow, but looked like a charming young prince. "My dear boy, I am all alone in this world. No wife nor children do I have. You will take charge of my household and be like a son to me. Here's a bag of gold. When it is finished, tell me and I will give you more. But there's one condition. If you ever find me weeping, don't ask me the reason for it," said the old man with tears flowing down his wrinkled face. Delighted and surprised at the same time, the grateful lad bowed and promised to abide by his instructions. He was, of course, confused by that one condition, but he kept his curiosity to himself. All went well and Yusuf managed the house efficiently. He often saw the old man weep and weep bitterly, but he never dared to ask him why. Years rolled by in peace and happiness for Yusuf, when one day the old man suddenly took ill. He knew that his days were numbered. He called Yusuf to his bedside and said, "You have always been faithful and affectionate. Indeed, you are more than a son to me. I am soon going to die. I leave all my property and wealth to you. Here are the keys." Yusuf held the old man's hands and bowed his head in gratitude. "But my son," continued the old man, "you must promise me one thing. Will you?" "I will," agreed Yusuf. "Do not open the silver door in this house, or you might be as unhappy as I am and will forget to laugh. I didn't keep my promise, and you know the consequence." Then he breathed his last. For some years, Yusuf lived happily in the beautiful house attended by scores of servants. Then one day, he remembered the old man's parting words. "Where could this silver door be? I have never seen it," he said to himself. He searched and searched from morning till evening for 3 long days. At last, he found it at the end of a dark, unused passage. He stood looking at it as it shone in the darkness, but he remembered the man's warning and dared not to open it. All day long he thought about the silver door, and all night long he only dreamt of it. Then a time came when he could no longer contain his curiosity. He stood before the mysterious door and kept on trying the keys from the bunch the old man had given him until one of them suddenly clicked it open. Beyond was what seemed to be a dark, long, winding tunnel. Yusuf was a brave and adventurous lad. Lighting a fagot, he groped his way through it. Suddenly, he found himself standing on the sandy beach of a turbulent sea. From the deep blue sky above, there swooped an enormous white bird and, taking him in its claws, flew away. Over many stretches of sea and towering mountains, they flew until they reached a splendid city. The bird placed the young man at the gate of a magnificent palace and then disappeared in the sky. The guards saluted Yusuf with an impressive clash of their swords on their shields and led him in with the beating of drums and playing of trumpets. They soon came to a grand marble hall which shone like a mirror. A kindly figure clad in flashing armor and wearing a jeweled crown greeted him with grace. Surprisingly, a scarf of the finest silk covered the host's face. You are noble, Yusuf, are you not? Asked the stranger in a musical voice. Yusuf concluded, Yes, indeed, I am. Our books of magic had informed us about your arrival. You are our most honored guest, said the stranger, and taking Yusuf by the hand led him to a golden throne on the platform. Yusuf took his seat on the throne and the stranger sat beside him. All the courtiers and soldiers in the hall bowed low before them. Then the silken scarf that covered the stranger's face was removed by a maid. Lo and behold, what did Yusuf see before him? There, sitting beside him, wearing the crown, was in fact a lovely damsel. So great was her beauty that it filled Yusuf's heart with joy, and from that moment he loved her. My lord Yusuf, she said, I am the princess of this land. It's written in our books of magic that you shall be our king, and we were all waiting for you. Will you take this throne as yours and accept me as your wife? The young man stood speechless. Overwhelmed with joy, then as if waking from a dream, he said, I accept your offer, my queen. This sunny little realm is all yours. You are our lord and king, said the princess. Oh, indeed, I am in paradise, exclaimed Yusuf. But the princess continued this time in a sober tone. There's only one condition, my lord. I will do anything you ask me to do, said Yusuf with enthusiasm. You see that golden door at the end of the hall, don't you? She asked. Yes, I do, he answered. Promise you will never open it. I give you my word that I will never ever open that door nor go anywhere near it, said Yusuf. It was not before long that the handsome Yusuf and the beautiful princess were married. She took the crown from her head and placed it on his. Years passed and the king and the queen lived happily together. One day, when Yusuf was all alone, he suddenly remembered the golden door. He went to the great hall and stood staring at it. There was no one else there. It was the silver door in my house that led me to this magic kingdom. But this door is made of gold. There must be something much more magical and wonderful behind it, he thought to himself. Slowly, with measured steps, he walked up to the door and touched its polished surface. The warning of the old man and the promise he had given to his queen rang loudly in his head. But the desire to enjoy something more luxurious and beautiful, a greater happiness, grew stronger in him. He held the knob and pushed open the door. Behind it was all darkness, and in the darkness he saw the huge white bird that had brought him to this island. In a moment it clutched him in its claws and flew out of the palace and rose into the sky. It flew on and on until it reached the beach from where it had picked him up years ago. It set him down there and then it flew away and disappeared once again. Yusuf stood motionless. The sound of the sea echoed around him. There was no hope for him now. He found the passage and groped his way back to his house. There he lived for the rest of his days, dreaming of his lost kingdom and sighing over it. Like the old man, he too forgot how to laugh. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Do provide your feedback in the comment section below. Thanks for listening.